Welcome to Red Moonlight Library. Subscribe. Smiley face. Let's begin. The past does not return gently, it comes in fragments, sharp as broken glass, cutting deeper with every memory. In the haze of incense and flickering red lantern light, Lynn's mind fractures into 1,000 moments she had once endured in silence. She remembers the day she was born, 2 cries filling the room, but only one greeted with joy. Her twin sister was wrapped in the finest silk, praised as a blessing, while Lynn was handed off without ceremony, as though she were an afterthought the heavens had mistakenly delivered. The montage shifts. A small girl stands in a courtyard under the harsh sun, her thin arms trembling as she scrubs stone tiles already clean. Inside, laughter spills from the house, her sister learning calligraphy, her brush guided gently by their father. Lynn watches from afar, unnoticed, until a servant snaps at her to lower her gaze. She obeys. She always obeyed. Another memory bleeds in. A broken vase lies shattered across the floor. Her sister's lip trembles, eyes glossy with practiced innocence. Before Lynn can speak, the blame is already hers. The slap comes swiftly, sharp, stinging, final. No one asks for the truth. No one ever does. The years blur together like ink in water. Cold winters where Lynn's blankets were thin and threadbare, while her sister slept beneath layers of warmth. Festive nights where she stood outside doors, listening to music and laughter she was never invited to join. Meals where she ate last, if anything remained at all. Yet through it all, Lynn never hated her. Because there were moments, small, fragile, fleeting, that kept her heart from hardening completely. Her sister secretly pressing a sweet into her palm when no one was watching. A whispered thank you after Lynn took punishment meant for her. A fleeting smile that made Lynn believe, foolishly, that she was loved in some quiet, hidden way. And so Lynn became what the world demanded of her. A shield. A shadow. A sacrifice waiting to happen. The final memory strikes harder than the rest. Rain lashes the earth, turning the road slick and unforgiving. The carriage speeds forward, wheels rattling violently. Her sister laughs beside her, carefree, unaware of the danger unfolding in the distance. Then, a blinding light. A deafening horn. A carriage careening out of control. Time slows. Lynn sees it all with terrible clarity, the terror blooming on her sister's face, the certainty of death rushing toward them. There is no thought, no hesitation. Only instinct. She lunges. Her hands shove her sister away with all the strength she has ever known. For a single heartbeat, their eyes meet. Shock. Confusion. And something else, something Lynn will never have the chance to understand. Then the world explodes into pain. Metal crushes bone. Sound disappears. Light shatters. And as her body is broken beneath the weight of fate, Lynn's final thought is not of regret, but relief. At least this time, she had chosen it. The montage ends. The incense smoke thickens. The chanting grows louder. And Lynn, bound in red silk, standing at the edge of an unholy marriage, realizes with chilling clarity. Even in death, her sacrifice had not freed her. It had only sold her to a worse fate. 1. Darkness does not frighten her. It is the smallness that does. Lynn awakens not with breath, but with pressure, tight, suffocating, wrapped in layers of coarse cloth that bind her limbs into helpless stillness. Her body is impossibly light, fragile, as though a single wrong movement might shatter her bones. The air smells of oil, smoke and damp wood, thick and familiar in a way that makes something deep inside her recoil. Then comes the sound. A woman's strained breathing. The soft crackle of a dying oil lamp. And somewhere close, too close, the thin, wavering cry of another infant. Her mind jolts. No, that sound? That's her. Memory does not return gently this time. It crashes in, violent and whole. Red lanterns. Fire. The stench of burning incense. The weight of silk binding her ghost form. The grotesque grin of the dead man who had tried to claim her as a bride. And her own voice, raw with fury. If I am ever born human again, I will make every one of you suffer. The vow cuts off. Because she understands. This place. This smell. This moment. It is not just familiar. It is exactly the same. Her eyes, new, unfocused, barely able to perceive light, struggle to open. The world is a blur of shadows and gold, but she can make out the flickering glow of a single oil lamp hanging crookedly against a wooden wall. Its weak flame dances, casting long, trembling shapes across a room she knows too well. The old house. The same house. The same night. A chill that no infant body should be able to feel crawls through her. 18 years ago. No, no, let me see her. The voice is frail, trembling with urgency. Arms lift her, gentle, shaking arms that hold her with a care she has not felt in 2 lifetimes. The cloth around her loosens slightly, and though she cannot move, cannot even properly turn her head, she senses the presence of someone leaning close. Her grandmother. Lynn does not need to see her clearly to know. The scent of worn cotton, the faint herbal bitterness clinging to her sleeves, the uneven rhythm of her breath, it is all the same. Such a tiny thing, the old woman whispers, voice breaking. This one is weaker, feed her first, she won't last the night if we don't. Hope, fragile, unfamiliar, flickers for the briefest instant inside Lynn's chest. But it is crushed just as quickly. Nonsense. The word falls like a blade. Cold. Sharp. Absolute. Another voice fills the room, smooth, controlled, carrying a quiet authority that has never needed to raise itself to be obeyed. The elder twin is still hungry, her mother says, each syllable laced with irritation rather than concern. The younger can wait. Lynn's mind explodes. Wait. The word echoes, grotesque in its familiarity. Wait to eat. Wait to be seen. Wait to matter. Wait to be discarded. Her entire being thrashes in silent fury. No. Not again. Not this time. She tries to move, to scream, to do anything that might force sound from her throat, but her body betrays her. All that escapes is a weak, pitiful whimper, the helpless cry of a newborn who cannot even lift her own head. The sound disgusts her. Across the room, fabric rustles. Another infant cries louder, stronger. Insistent. Of course. Her sister. Even now, she demands attention without effort. Even now, the world bends instinctively in her favor. Here, her mother murmurs, her voice softening, not with love, but with satisfaction. Drink slowly. Lynn cannot see it clearly, but she knows exactly what is happening. The careful positioning. The gentle cooing. The patience that had never once been given to her. Her fists, tiny, useless things, curl weakly inside her wrappings. So it begins again. A dull, familiar weight settles over her chest, not sorrow, not quite anger, but something colder. Something older. Recognition. In the doorway, another presence lingers. Heavy. Silent. Watching. Her father. She cannot see his face, but she does not need to. She remembers the way he stands, arms crossed, posture rigid, a man who speaks little because his approval has never needed words. A low grunt escapes him. That is all. No objection. No hesitation. No mercy. And just like that, the decision is sealed. Lynn's hunger gnaws at her, sharp and immediate, a physical pain layered atop the storm raging inside her mind. Her body trembles, not from weakness alone, but from rage so vast it has nowhere to go. This is how it starts, she realizes. Not with cruelty. But with choices. Small ones. Quiet ones. Made again and again, until a life is shaped into suffering. The crying across the room softens. The favored child is satisfied. Only then does the grandmother move. A long, weary sigh escapes her as she gathers Lynn closer, adjusting the cloth around her with careful hands. There is resignation in that breath, but also defiance, faint and flickering like the last ember of a dying fire. All right, the old woman murmurs, voice low so the others will not hear. Hush now, little one. Lynn feels the shift as she is cradled tighter, pressed against a heartbeat that is uneven but warm. Safe. For now. The grandmother's fingers brush lightly over her cheek, as though memorizing the fragile shape of her face. Then, softer still, almost swallowed by the crackle of the oil lamp, she whispers. Little one, survive this time. The words settle deep. Deeper than the hunger. Deeper than the helplessness. They take root in the part of Lynn that still burns. Her crying quiets, not because the pain has faded, but because something else has taken its place. A promise. Cold. Steady. Unyielding. I will survive. Not as a shadow. Not as a sacrifice. Not as the girl they discard. This time. She will remember. And one day. When her body is no longer weak, when her voice is no longer silent. They will remember her too. Time does not heal Lynn. It sharpens her. The years pass not as memories, but as a sequence of quiet, grinding repetitions, days stitched together by hunger, labor, and the steady erosion of what a child should have been. Morning begins before the sun. A small figure struggles beneath the weight of a wooden bucket, water sloshing over the rim and soaking her already worn sleeves. Lynn's arms tremble, her steps uneven on the dirt path leading back to the house. The cold bites into her skin, but she does not stop. She learned early, stopping only makes it worse. Inside, laughter drifts through the open doorway. Her sister sits by the window, bathed in soft light, her hair neatly tied with ribbons too fine for rough hands. A doll rests in her lap, new, pristine, dressed in embroidered silk. She giggles as their mother adjusts its tiny sleeves, praising her gentleness, her beauty, her grace. Lynn steps inside, dripping water across the floor. No one looks at her. Why are you so slow? Her mother's voice cuts in, sharp without even turning her head. Put it down and clean yourself. You're making a mess. No thank you. No acknowledgement. Lynn lowers the bucket carefully. She says nothing. Meals are no different. Steam rises from fresh buns placed delicately into her sister's bowl, their soft fragrance filling the room. Golden, warm, perfect. Lynn watches from the corner. She knows better than to reach. Only when her sister is full, only when the table has been cleared, does she receive what remains. Cold rice, clumped together. Scraps of vegetables, limp and tasteless. Sometimes nothing at all. She eats anyway. Every bite is a reminder. Not of her place. But of what must change. Blame becomes a language she is fluent in. A shattered teacup. A torn sleeve. A streak of spilled ink across the floor. Each time, the pattern unfolds with flawless precision. Her sister's lip trembles. Tears gather instantly, shimmering but never quite falling, not until the right moment. I didn't mean to, she whispers, voice soft and fragile. Second sister was looking at me like she hated me. All eyes turn. They always do. Lynn stands still, her expression empty, even as the accusation settles over her like a familiar cloak. You're jealous, her mother snaps, rising to her feet. That's why you ruin her things, isn't it? Lynn does not answer. There is no answer that has ever mattered. The slap comes swiftly. Her head jerks to the side, pain blooming across her cheek, but she does not cry. She learned quickly that tears only deepen their satisfaction. Behind the curtain of her lowered lashes, she watches. Always watching. The cruelty is not always loud. Sometimes, it is quieter. Sharper. More deliberate. Why does second sister hate me so much? Her sister's voice is small, trembling, perfectly crafted. They are alone this time, just the two of them in the courtyard. Sunlight filters through the leaves, dappling the ground between them. Lynn pauses in her work. Slowly, she looks up. Their eyes meet. For a brief moment, the mask slips. The tears vanish. The fear dissolves. And in its place, something calculating. Something that knows exactly what it is doing. Then, as quickly as it appears, it's gone. Footsteps approach. Her sister's expression crumples, tears spilling freely now as she runs forward. Mother. The impact comes harder this time. Lynn stumbles, her vision flashing white. You ungrateful child, her mother hisses. How dare you treat your sister this way? Still, Lynn does not cry. Because now she understands. This is not accidental. This is not innocence. This is strategy. Twice a year, the world shifts. The door creaks open, and with it comes a presence that does not belong to this house. Her grandmother. Age has bent her frame further, her steps slower, but her eyes remain sharp, too sharp. They soften only when they fall on Lynn. My little one, she murmurs, gathering her close despite the dirt, the worn clothes, the silent stiffness of a child who has forgotten how to respond to affection. From her bundle come small treasures. A piece of sweet candy. A hand-sewn cloth doll. A thicker coat for winter. Always for Lynn. Never for the other. And every time, it ends the same. You spoil her, her mother says coldly, standing at a distance as though the old woman carries something contagious. She'll grow arrogant if you keep favoring her. She needs it, the grandmother replies, her voice firmer than usual. Can't you see how? That's enough. The interruption is final. Her father does not raise his voice, but he does not need to. Take your things and go. The door closes behind her grandmother with a hollow finality that lingers long after she is gone. Lynn stands in silence, clutching whatever small gift she has been given. She does not chase after her. She does not call out. She already knows. No one stays. By the time she turns 8, something inside Lynn has changed. Not broken. Refined. The fear is gone. The hope is gone. In their place. Clarity. She begins small. So small no one notices. One afternoon, while her sister naps, Lynn enters the room quietly. Her steps are light, practiced. Her gaze sweeps the space once, calculating, precise. There. The favorite hairpin. Delicate. Ornate. Always worn, always treasured. Lynn picks it up, turning it once between her fingers. Then. She hides it. Not far. Not carelessly. Just enough. When her sister wakes, the house fills with panic. It's gone, she cries, her voice rising in pitch. My hairpin, it's gone. Servants search. Drawers are overturned. Accusations begin to stir. Lynn stands at the edge of it all. Watching. Her sister's composure cracks first. Tears come faster this time, less controlled. Her voice sharpens, frustration bleeding through the performance. I had it here. I know I did. For the first time. She looks uncertain. For the first time. Things are not going according to her design. Lynn's face remains blank. But inside, something cold unfurls. So fragile, she thinks. So easy to shake. Her gaze lowers, hiding the faint shift in her eyes, the first spark of something dangerous, something patient. Something inevitable. Phase 1 begins. Like this story so far, give it a thumbs up. 3. By the time Lynn turns 9, she stops reacting to the world. She begins using it. Memory is no longer a burden. It is a map. While other children learn through mistakes, Lynn moves with the quiet certainty of someone who has already seen how things unfold. She remembers the merchant at the East Market, the one with the booming laugh and the polished jade rings. In her last life, his caravans had vanished within a year, his fortune collapsing overnight. Now, when she passes his stall carrying baskets twice her size, she lowers her gaze, but she listens. Counts. Observes. Too many goods. Too much confidence. Too little caution. He will fall, she notes silently. And she files it away. She remembers the minor official who visits their home one autumn evening, smiling, courteous, dripping with false humility. In the past, he had risen quickly, and fallen even faster when whispers of bribery surfaced. Now, Lynn notices the subtle exchange, a folded packet slipped beneath the table, her father's approving grunt. So that's how it begins. Another piece placed carefully into the puzzle. And she remembers the sky. The way it had turned pale and merciless in the year of drought. Crops failing. Wells drying. Hunger spreading like disease. She counts the seasons now. Measures the rain. Watches the clouds with an attention no child should possess. 3 years, she calculates. 3 years until the land cracks open. She does not act on these things. Not yet. Instead, she gathers. A dropped coin no one notices. A copper piece left behind after errands. A sliver of change skimmed so carefully it cannot be traced. Each one disappears into places only she knows, beneath loose floorboards, inside the hollow of a broken beam, wrapped in cloth and hidden where even searching hands would not think to reach. It is not greed. It is preparation. To the world, Lynn remains unchanged. Head lowered. Voice soft. Presence barely there. The perfect servant child. She moves when called. Speaks when spoken to. Endures without resistance. Even her mother's gaze passes over her now, not with anger, but with something colder. Dismissal. Good. That is exactly what Lynn wants. At night, the house sleeps. And Lynn becomes someone else. Moonlight slips through the cracks in the wooden walls, pale and thin, just enough to illuminate the stolen pages spread across her lap. Old account books. Discarded scraps. Anything with ink. Her fingers trace the characters slowly at first, then faster, steadier, until recognition becomes understanding. In her past life, she had never been taught. There had been no time. No reason. No permission. Her sister, favored as she was, had been given lessons, but never discipline. Words blurred together for her, meaningless beyond what was required to impress. Lynn learns differently. She devours knowledge in silence. Every character becomes a weapon. Every sentence, a blade sharpened in the dark. Sometimes her eyes ache. Sometimes her body trembles from exhaustion after a day of labor. She does not stop. Because this is something no one can take from her. Her sister does not notice. Why would she? Her world is still filled with silk ribbons and idle pleasures, her laughter echoing through the courtyard as if nothing could ever touch her. But Lynn watches. Always watches. And she waits. The first strike comes during the new year. The house is alive with color, red paper cuttings pasted on doors, lanterns swaying gently in the winter air. The scent of food fills every corner, rich and indulgent. Guests come and go. Voices rise in celebration. At the center of it all, her sister. Dressed in her finest silk. The gown is exquisite. Deep crimson threaded with gold, shimmering with every movement. It draws every eye, every compliment, every envious glance. Her mother beams with pride. Careful, she says, smoothing the fabric. It's delicate. Lynn stands nearby, holding a tray of wine. Invisible. Perfectly placed. The moment is small. So small no one marks it. A step forward. A slight turn. A brush of fabric against wood. The lantern sways. Just enough. The silk catches. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then. Flame blooms. It spreads hungrily, devouring the delicate threads in an instant. Screams shatter the celebration. Fire. Her sister shrieks, stumbling back as hands rush to smother the flames. The gown blackens, curls, disintegrates before their eyes. Chaos erupts. Water is thrown. Guests shout. The smell of smoke chokes the air. And in the center of it all, Lynn stands still. Watching. The aftermath is inevitable. How could you be so careless? Her mother's voice is no longer controlled, it is furious, sharp enough to cut. I didn't mean, her sister sobs, clinging to her, ruined silk clutched in trembling hands. All eyes turn. They always do. Lynn lowers her head. I'm sorry, she says softly. The words come easily now. They mean nothing. The beating is worse than before. Blows rain down without restraint, fueled by humiliation, anger, the loss of something valuable. Pain explodes across her body, sharp, relentless, unyielding. But Lynn does not fight. She does not cry. She lets it happen. Because this time, it is not meaningless. That night, she lies on her thin bedding, body aching with every breath. Bruises bloom beneath her skin, dark and spreading. The house is quiet again. Peaceful. As if nothing had happened. As if nothing ever changes. Lynn turns her face into the pillow. And for the first time, she smiles. It is small. Faint. But real. One fire. The memory flickers, red lanterns collapsing, flames consuming everything, the heat of her own destruction. For the one you gave me. Her fingers curl slowly into the fabric. This is only the beginning. And this time, she is the one holding the match. 4. Beauty, Lynn learns, is not a blessing. It is bait. By 14, her sister has become everything their mother once dreamed of. Graceful. Radiant. Untouched by hardship. Her features soften into delicate perfection, her skin unmarked, her hands uncalloused. Silk drapes her like it belongs there, jewels catching the light as though they were meant only for her. And the world responds. Matchmakers begin to arrive. One after another, they step through the family gates, their smiles wide, their eyes calculating. They bring compliments wrapped in honeyed words, praising her sister's beauty, her supposed gentleness, her virtuous upbringing. Lynn listens from behind doors. From corners. From the spaces she has always occupied, present, but unseen. Such a fine girl, one matchmaker says, sipping tea. Any household would be fortunate to have her. Of course, her mother replies smoothly, pride threading through every word. We have raised her with great care. Lynn lowers her gaze. Raised. The word almost amuses her. She is not allowed to be seen. Stay out of sight, her mother instructs one morning, not even looking at her. You'll only embarrass us. Lynn bows her head. Yes, mother. Plain. Useless. Unworthy of notice. She accepts the role effortlessly. Because invisibility is power. The servants see more than they should. They always have. They notice who eats first. Who is favored. Who bleeds quietly and says nothing. Pity is a dangerous thing. It softens tongues. Loosens restraint. Lynn does not ask for their sympathy. She simply listens. Then, one day, she begins to speak. It's nothing, she murmurs softly while helping in the kitchen, her voice hesitant, as though she regrets even saying it. I probably misunderstood. The older servant glances at her. What is it? Lynn hesitates. Perfectly. I thought I saw elder sister, talking to someone near the back gate, she says, lowering her eyes. A man. His clothes were simple. A pause. Probably just a delivery worker, she adds quickly. I shouldn't have mentioned it. But she already has. The seed is planted. From there, it spreads. Not loudly. Not crudely. In fragments. A glimpse here. A question there. Have you noticed she's been going out more often? She seemed flustered the other day. I heard a scholar has been lingering nearby. Each word is light. Dismissible. But together, they begin to take shape. The letters come next. Lynn prepares them carefully. Her handwriting is practiced now, controlled and deliberate. She mimics the uneven strokes of someone less educated, crafting words that feel impulsive, emotional, believable. I cannot bear another day without seeing you. If your family finds out, we are ruined. Meet me where no one will know. She folds the paper gently. Places it where it will be found, but not too easily. Inside her sister's room. Beneath silks. Between belongings only someone searching, or suspicious, would disturb. Then she waits. The storm breaks faster than expected. What is this? Her mother's voice slices through the house, sharp with fury. Lynn pauses in the courtyard, water bucket in hand. Listens. Footsteps, hurried, uneven. Her sister's voice rises, confused, frightened. I don't understand, what are you talking about? These letters, her mother snaps. Who is he? I don't know. I've never. A slap. Louder than usual. Lynn's grip tightens slightly on the bucket. Denial only feeds suspicion. Tears follow. Please. Panic. But this time, it doesn't work. Because the idea has already taken root. And ideas, once planted, are difficult to kill. By nightfall, the decision is made. You will stay in your room, her mother says coldly. Until you remember how to behave like a proper young lady. Mother, please. No one is to let her out. The door slams. A lock clicks into place. Silence settles over the house. A different kind of silence. Heavier. For the first time. Her sister is confined. Trapped within walls she cannot charm her way out of. Days pass. Then weeks. Her protests grow weaker. Her voice less certain. The servants avoid her door now, uneasy, whispering among themselves. The same whispers Lynn once endured. Now echo for someone else. Lynn walks past the closed door one evening, her steps quiet. From inside, she hears it. A soft sound. Not quite crying. Not quite anger. Something in between. She pauses. Just for a moment. Then she keeps walking. Her father notices changes. Not in the daughter locked away. But in the house itself. Expenses shift. Accounts strain. The balance he once ignored begins to tilt in ways even he cannot overlook. Lynn chooses her moment carefully. She approaches him with lowered eyes, holding a ledger she had no business reading, but now understands perfectly. Father, she says softly, I may be mistaken. He glances at her. He rarely does. She continues, voice steady but deferential. I noticed, some of the household funds have been used recently. For jewelry. And fabrics. A pause. I thought you should know. She says nothing more. Does not accuse. Does not elaborate. Just enough truth. left gently in his hands. He says nothing at first, but his gaze lingers longer than usual. On the ledger. On the numbers. On the quiet daughter he has never truly seen. Something shifts. Barely. But enough. That night, raised voices echo faintly from the inner rooms. Her mother's tone, sharp, defensive. Her father's, low, controlled, edged with something unfamiliar. Doubt. Lynn sits in the dark, moonlight brushing softly against her face. Her expression does not change. But her thoughts are clear. Precise. Satisfied. The cage feels different when it closes on you, she thinks. Her fingers rest lightly against the floor, tracing invisible patterns only she understands. This is not revenge born of rage. It is something colder. More deliberate. Like honey laced with poison. Sweet enough to swallow. Deadly enough to destroy. And now, they are finally beginning to taste it. 5. The sky betrays them first. At the start of the year, it is subtle, too subtle for anyone but Lynn to notice. The rains come late. When they do, they are thin, uncertain, as if the clouds themselves have forgotten their purpose. The earth drinks greedily, but it is not enough. Days stretch into weeks, and the green begins to dull. Others call it bad luck. Lynn calls it inevitable. By mid-year, the land cracks open. Fields that once swayed with life now lie brittle and gray. Crops wither before they can mature, their leaves curling inward like hands in prayer. The wells shrink. The air grows heavy with dust and desperation. And just as she remembers, the family begins to fall. At first, her mother refuses to acknowledge it. We've had bad seasons before, she insists, pacing the room. It will pass. But the ledgers say otherwise. Losses stack one atop another. Supplies dwindle. Debts, once manageable, tighten like a noose. Her father grows quieter. The lines in his face deepen. His silence is no longer indifference, it is pressure, building with nowhere to go. And her sister? For the first time in her life. Looks afraid. Lynn watches it all unfold with calm precision. Every moment aligns with the past she remembers. Every failure arrives on schedule. But this time, she is not drowning with them. The shift comes one evening. The house is dim, the oil lamp burning low to conserve what little remains. Her parents sit across from one another, tension thick enough to suffocate. We need to do something, her mother says, her voice tight. We can't just sit here and watch everything collapse. Her father says nothing. Because he has no answer. Because for all his authority, he has never needed to think this way before. It is then that her mother's gaze shifts. Slowly. Reluctantly. Toward the corner. Toward Lynn. You, she says. The word feels foreign on her tongue, as though she has never used it before in this context. Lynn steps forward, head bowed. Yes, mother? A pause. Then. If you have anything useful to say, her mother continues, her pride cracking just enough to let the words through, now would be the time. For a moment, silence hangs between them. 17 years. 17 years of dismissal, of neglect, of being unseen. And now? They ask. Lynn lifts her gaze slightly. Not enough to challenge. Just enough to be heard. There are still ways to preserve what we have, she says softly. If we act quickly. Her father's eyes sharpen. Speak. She does. But not everything. Never everything. She advises them to shift what remains of their crops, focus on what requires less water, what can survive harsher conditions. She suggests selling certain goods early, before the market floods with desperate sellers and prices collapse. She points out small inefficiencies in their household spending, carefully, delicately, never directly accusing. Each piece of advice is precise. Measured. Just enough to stabilize them. And it works. Not perfectly. Not completely. But enough. The farm does not die. It survives. And in surviving, it produces something valuable. A smaller harvest, yes. But one that becomes precious in a time of scarcity. Prices rise. Demand surges. And for the first time in months, money flows back into the household. Her mother breathes again. Her father watches. Really watches. But Lynn has already moved on to the next step. The profits do not all return where they should. Not quite. Not entirely. Small portions vanish. So small they cannot be noticed. So consistent they cannot be traced. She redirects them carefully, through routes no one in the household understands, through traders she observed years ago, through exchanges she remembers from a life where she had been nothing more than a silent witness. Her hidden stores grow. Coin by coin. Layer by layer. A future built in shadows. Her sister notices something different. Not in the accounts. Not in the land. But in Lynn. Desperation changes people. And her sister? Is no exception. The matchmakers have grown scarce. Wealthy families no longer look toward houses teetering on collapse. The glow of her beauty dims under the weight of uncertainty. She needs security. She needs escape. And somewhere, instinctively, she begins to sense that Lynn, the invisible, useless sister, is no longer as empty-handed as she appears. The first time she takes from Lynn's hidden stash, it is clumsy. Careless. But Lynn notices. Of course she does. She says nothing. The second time is cleaner. More deliberate. Her sister learns quickly when she needs to. Lynn still says nothing. Instead, she adjusts. She leaves the hiding place slightly easier to access. The coins slightly more visible. A silent invitation. Her sister accepts. Again. And again. Each theft driven by growing urgency, by the quiet panic of someone watching her future slip away. Then, Lynn moves. The evidence appears where it should not. A missing piece of jewelry. A misplaced sum from the household funds. Tiny inconsistencies that begin to surface, too deliberate to be coincidence. Too clear to ignore. What is this? Her mother's voice is sharp again, but this time, there is something unfamiliar beneath it. Suspicion. Her sister freezes. I don't know. Don't lie to me. The slap comes suddenly. Violently. Everything stops. For a heartbeat. The world seems to tilt. Because this has never happened before. Her sister stares, stunned, her hand rising slowly to her cheek. Tears gather, but they are different now. Not controlled. Not practiced. Raw. Shocked. Mother. The word breaks. Her mother's chest rises and falls rapidly, anger spilling over, fueled by fear, by loss, by the fragile control she is struggling to maintain. After everything we've done for you, she snaps, you would steal from your own family? I didn't. But the denial is weaker this time. Because somewhere, she knows. She has. Another blow threatens. Another accusation. The perfect daughter. Cracking. In the corner of the room, Lynn stands silently. Watching. She does not move. Does not speak. Does not intervene. Her eyes remain steady as she takes it in. Every tear. Every tremble. Every fragment of something once untouchable, breaking apart. Slowly. Almost imperceptibly. She begins to count. Not aloud. Never aloud. But within herself. Each tear a number. Each sob a mark. A quiet ledger. Balanced at last. So this is how it feels, she thinks. Not with triumph. Not with joy. But with a cold, measured understanding. Her sister's world is no longer safe. Her mother's control is no longer absolute. Her father's silence is no longer neutral. The house has changed. Irreversibly. And Lynn, still standing in the shadows, finally belongs to none of it. Because this time, she is not the one being broken. She is the one who chose exactly where the cracks would form. 6. Fate is patient. It waits. And when it returns, it does so with perfect memory. Lynn knows the day the moment she wakes. There is something in the air. Heavy. Pressed. Familiar in a way that settles deep into her bones like an old wound reopening. She steps outside and looks at the road beyond the courtyard. The same road. The same narrow bend. The same place where, in another life, everything had ended. The sky is overcast, the light dull and unforgiving. In the distance, wheels creak. A cart approaches. Too fast. Her sister stands just ahead, distracted, her attention turned elsewhere, her movements careless, as they have always been. For a brief moment, time folds in on itself. Lynn sees it twice. The past. Rain. Terror. A body thrown forward in desperate sacrifice. And the present? Dry earth. A clear path. A choice. The cart veers. The driver shouts. Too late. In her first life, Lynn had not thought. She had moved without hesitation, driven by something instinctive, something selfless. Something that had cost her everything. This time, she does nothing. Her foot shifts. Just slightly. Enough. The world slows. Her sister turns, confusion flickering across her face as the sound of danger finally reaches her. Their eyes meet. For a single heartbeat. Recognition does not come. Only surprise. Then. Impact. The sound is sickening. Wood splinters. Bone breaks. A scream cuts through the air, sharp and short before it is swallowed by silence. The cart lurches to a halt. Dust rises. And where there had once been beauty, laughter, certainty, there is only stillness. Lynn stands where she is. Unmoving. The world rushes back and all at once. Voices. Shouts. Footsteps pounding against the ground. Help her, someone help her. Her mother's voice tears through the chaos, raw with panic as she stumbles forward, collapsing beside the broken form on the road. No, no, get up, get up. Her hands tremble as they hover, afraid to touch, afraid to confirm what her eyes already see. Lynn moves then. Not quickly. Not urgently. But appropriately. Elder sister, she cries, her voice breaking at exactly the right pitch as she rushes forward, dropping to her knees. Her hands hovered just as her mother's had. Shaking. Convincing. She reaches out. And stops. Too late. The village gathers quickly. Murmurs ripple outward, shock spreading like wildfire. How tragic. She was so young. And her sister, look how she tries to save her. Lynn bows over the body, her shoulders trembling. From a distance. It looks like grief. Up close. Her eyes are dry. The funeral comes swiftly. There is no time for denial. No space for miracles. Only ritual. Her mother does not rise from her room for 2 days. When she does, she is unrecognizable. Her voice, once sharp, commanding, is hollow. her steps unsteady. The weight of her loss bends her in ways age never could. Her father stands in the center of the house, silent as always. Until he isn't. You did this. The words fall heavy, undeniable. Her mother looks up slowly, disbelief flickering through her grief. What? You spoiled her, he continues, his voice low but cutting deeper than any shout. You made her careless. Weak. Each word lands like a verdict. And now she's dead because of it. Something inside her mother fractures completely. She does not argue. She cannot. Because somewhere, buried beneath her sorrow, she knows. Lynn listens from the doorway. Unseen. The house, once ruled by certainty and control, now echoes with blame and regret. Exactly as it should. The day of the burial arrives beneath a sky the color of ash. Villagers gather in quiet respect, their voices hushed, their eyes lingering on Lynn with something close to admiration. Such a devoted sister. She tried to save her. What a tragedy. Lynn stands beside the coffin. Still. Composed. Dressed in red. The color is striking. Wrong. A shade meant for celebration, for union, not for mourning. But no one questions it. They assume it is grief expressed strangely. They assume many things. Only one person notices. The grandmother stands at the edge of the crowd, her frail form wrapped in worn layers, her eyes sharp despite the years. They fall on Lynn. And do not look away. For a moment, the world narrows. Just the two of them. Lynn steps closer to the coffin as the final prayers are spoken. The lid remains open. Her sister's face is pale, still, emptied of everything that once made it powerful. Beautiful. Untouchable. Gone. Lynn leans in. Just enough. Her voice is soft. Barely a breath. Meant for no one else. You took my life once, she whispers, her lips curving into something that is not quite a smile. A pause. Then. Now I take everything you loved. She straightens. Steps back. The moment disappears as if it never existed. The coffin is sealed. Lowered into the ground. The finality of it echoes through the silence. One by one, the villagers leave. Her parents remain behind, broken in different ways. And the grandmother? Waits. When the others are gone, she approaches. Slowly. Carefully. As though stepping into something dangerous. Lynn. The name is spoken with certainty. Not question. Not doubt. Lynn turns. Their eyes meet. For a long moment, neither speaks. Because nothing needs to be said. The grandmother sees it. Not the obedient child. Not the silent servant. But something else. Something colder. Something forged in fire and memory. And she understands. Without a word, the old woman reaches into her sleeve. Her hand emerges holding something small. Green. Worn smooth by time. A jade seal. She takes Lynn's hand. Places it gently in her palm. Closes her fingers around it. A family's roots run deeper than what is seen, the grandmother murmurs, her voice low, steady despite the weight of what she is giving away. A pause. Then. This belongs to you now. Lynn looks down at it. Feels its weight. Its meaning. Not just wealth. Not just power. But inheritance. Choice. Freedom. When she looks up again, the grandmother is already turning away. No questions. No warnings. No attempts to stop what has already begun. Only acceptance. Lynn stands alone beside the fresh grave. The wind stirs softly, brushing against the red fabric wrapped around her like a memory reborn. 18 years. 2 lifetimes. 1 vow. And now, at last, it is fulfilled. But as her fingers tighten around the jade seal, her gaze drifting beyond the grave, beyond the broken house, beyond the life she has just dismantled, one truth settles quietly into place. This was never the end. Only the beginning of what comes after the fire. 7. A year passes. Not gently. Not kindly. Time does not heal this house. It hollows it. The courtyard is quieter now. No laughter. No music. No silk brushing against polished wood. Only wind. Dry, restless wind that carries dust through broken corners and rattles doors that no longer close properly. The house that once stood with pride now leans under the weight of neglect, its paint faded, its beams creaking, its spirit long since gone. Inside, decay has taken root and flesh as much as wood. Her mother no longer leaves her bed. The once impeccable woman, sharp-tongued, poised, untouchable, has withered into something fragile and unrecognizable. Her hair is dull, streaked with gray that seemed to appear overnight. Her hands tremble even at rest, clutching thin blankets as though they are the only barrier between her and something far worse. She speaks rarely. And when she does, it is never to command. Only to murmur. Fragments of the past. My daughter. It wasn't supposed to. I didn't know. The words drift aimlessly, heavy with guilt that has nowhere to go. Lynn listens sometimes. From the doorway. From the shadows. Never stepping inside unless necessary. You're awake, she says one morning, her tone neutral as she sets down a bowl of plain porridge. No warmth. No cruelty. Just distance. Her mother turns her head slowly. For a moment, confusion clouds her hollow gaze. Then recognition comes. And with it, fear. You, her voice cracks, barely more than a whisper. Lynn. The name trembles like something forbidden. Lynn does not respond. She adjusts the bowl slightly. Ensures it is within reach. Please, her mother continues, her fingers curling weakly into the blanket. I didn't mean. The apology breaks apart before it can fully form. Because even now, it is incomplete. Lynn watches her for a long moment. Expression unreadable. Then she speaks. Quietly. Decisively. You'll be moving today. The words hang in the air. Her mother blinks. Moving? Lynn nods once. To the outer hut. Silence. Then. No, the denial is immediate, desperate. No, I can't, Lynn, please, that place is cold. Cramped. Unfit. Lynn knows. She lived there. You'll manage, she says simply. Her mother's breath quickens, panic breaking through the fog of her exhaustion. Please. I'm your mother, the words mean nothing. Lynn steps closer. Not in comfort. Not in cruelty. Just enough for her presence to fill the space. And I was your daughter, she replies. There is no anger in her voice. No raised tone. Just truth. Flat. Final. The servants, those who remain, carry her mother out by midday. No one argues. No one intervenes. Because everyone knows who holds power now. The hut stands at the far edge of the property. Small. Worn. Barely standing. The same one Lynn once called home. Her mother's cries follow her for a while. Then fade. Then disappear. The house grows quieter still. Her father does not protest. Not when his wife is removed. Not when the household shifts entirely under Lynn's control. He drinks instead. Each night, The scent of cheap alcohol fills the air as he sits alone, a once imposing figure reduced to slumped shoulders and unsteady hands. The man who had enforced silence is now consumed by it. Sometimes, he speaks. Not to Lynn. Not to anyone. I should have. If I had said something. It wasn't right. Regret is a slow poison. Lynn lets it do its work. When she finally approaches him, it is not as a daughter. It is as something else. A ledger rests in her hands. Neatly prepared. Carefully written. You need to sign this, she says, placing it in front of him. He glances at it. Eyes unfocused at first. Then slowly. They sharpen. This is the land, he mutters. Lynn nods. You're transferring ownership, he says, voice hoarse. Yes. A pause. A year ago, he might have refused. Might have questioned. Might have asserted the authority he once held so tightly. Now. He only stares at the paper. At the weight of everything he has lost. And if I don't, he asks. Lynn meets his gaze. Steady. Unblinking. Then you won't be able to stay. The answer is simple. Unavoidable. His hand trembles as he picks up the brush. For a moment, it hovers above the paper. Then. He signs. The last piece falls into place. Ownership shifts completely. Not just in practice. But in truth. Days later, she returns. Another document. Another quiet conversation. You can continue working the land, she tells him. A flicker of something, hope, perhaps, passes through his tired eyes. But you'll pay rent, she continues. It vanishes. How much, he asks. Lynn's expression does not change. Triple what it used to earn. Silence. It is impossible. They both know it. But he nods anyway. Because there is nothing left to negotiate. Nothing left to protect. And so? The man who once owned everything now works his own land as a tenant. Under his daughter. The final act comes quietly. Almost reverently. The grave is opened at dusk. No villagers are present. No prayers are spoken. No rituals to honor the dead. Only purpose. The earth is soft from recent winds, easy to move. Layer by layer, the soil is removed. Until wood appears. The coffin. Lynn stands above it, dressed once more in red. The same shade. The same cut. The same silent defiance of tradition. The lid is lifted. Her sister lies within. Unchanged. Preserved by time and earth, her features still delicate, still eerily beautiful in death. Lynn looks down at her. For a long moment? Says nothing. Then. Do you remember? She asks softly. Of course. There is no answer. There was a time, she continues, her voice almost thoughtful, when I took your place. The memory lingers between them. Fire. Silk. A fate forced upon her. This time, Lynn murmurs, you'll take mine. The arrangements are already made. The buyer has paid well. A wealthy family seeking to appease restless spirits. A ghost groom waiting for his bride. Just as before. The body is prepared. Dressed. Bound. And as the final knot is tied, Lynn watches without expression. No anger. No satisfaction. Only completion. The cart arrives to carry the corpse away. The same creak of wheels. The same path leading into darkness. A circle closed. As it disappears into the distance, Lynn turns away. Behind her. The grave remains open. Empty. Ahead. The house stands. Broken. Silent. Entirely hers. Ashes, she realizes, are not only for the dead. Some are meant for the living. 8. The hall has been rebuilt. Not as it was, but close enough to remember. Where once there had been decay and ash, now stands a shrine. Polished wood replaces charred beams. Incense coils hang neatly from the ceiling, their smoke rising in thin, controlled spirals instead of choking clouds. Tablets line the altar. Names of the dead. Names meant to be honored. Respected. Remembered. Lynn steps inside at dusk. Alone. Her footsteps echo softly against the floor, measured and unhurried. The air is thick with sandalwood and ritual, familiar in a way that brushes against something buried deep within her. Not fear. Not pain. Something colder. Recognition. This is where it ends. Behind her, 2 figures are brought in. Not invited. Not welcomed. Summoned. Her mother stumbles first. Weaker now than ever, her body barely able to support itself without assistance. The pride that once defined her is gone, stripped away piece by piece until nothing remains but frailty and fear. Her father follows. Slower. Heavier. Every step deliberate, as though each one carries the weight of a life he can no longer undo. They stop just inside the threshold. Neither speaks. Neither dares. Lynn does not turn to greet them. She is already at the altar. 10 candles rest before her. Tall. Red. Unlit. She picks up the first. Strikes the flint. A spark. Then. Flame. The wick catches, burning steadily. 1, she says quietly. Her voice is calm. Even. The second candle. Another spark. Another flame. 2. The rhythm begins. Unbroken. Unstoppable. Behind her, her mother's breath grows uneven. Lynn, she whispers, her voice trembling with something dangerously close to panic. The third candle ignites. 3. Her father says nothing. But his gaze does not leave her. The fourth. 4. The light grows stronger, shadows dancing across the walls, stretching and twisting like memories brought to life. The fifth. 5. Her mother takes a step forward. Unsteady. Desperate. Please, what are you doing? The 6th candle flares. 6. Lynn does not answer. The 7th. 7. Each flame is identical. Each one steady. Controlled. The 8th. 8. Her mother's voice cracks completely now. Lynn, please. I know I was wrong. I know. The 9th. 9. The room feels smaller. Hotter. As though the air itself is tightening. Then. The final candle. Lynn pauses. Just for a moment. Her fingers rest against the wick. Still. Then. The flame comes to life. 10. Silence follows. Heavy. Absolute. 10 candles burn. 10 small suns. Each one reflecting in Lynn's eyes as she finally turns. Slowly. Deliberately. Her gaze lands on them. Her mother flinches. Because what she sees is not anger. Not even hatred. It is something far worse. Nothing. Lynn steps away from the altar and reaches for the bundle resting beside it. Stacks of spirit money. Neatly tied. Carefully prepared. The same kind. The same offering. The same price once placed on her death. She lifts one. Holds it between her fingers. Studies it as though it were something distant. Unimportant. Then, she brings it to the flame. It catches instantly. Fire consuming the paper with greedy ease, curling the edges, turning gold to black. Behind her, a sound breaks. No. Her mother lunges forward, collapsing halfway as her strength gives out. Don't, please don't. Lynn watches the paper burn until nothing remains. Then reaches for another. And another. One by one. She feeds them to the fire. These were your offerings, she says at last, her voice soft, almost reflective. Your prayers. Another note turns to ash. Your love. The word lingers. Twisted. Hollow. Her father finally speaks. Enough. The word is quiet. But it carries. Lynn looks at him. For a moment, something passes between them. Recognition. Regret. Too late. She turns back to the flames. No, she says simply. And continues. Her mother is crying openly now. No pretense. No control. Just raw, broken sound. Please, forgive me. Lynn, I beg you. I didn't know. I didn't understand. The words tumble over each other. Desperate. Useless. Lynn sets the final stack down. Lets it burn completely. Watches as the last trace of it disappears into smoke. Then, she steps closer. Close enough that her shadow falls over her mother. Close enough that her voice does not need to rise. You counted coins while my soul burned, she says quietly. Her mother's sobs hitch. Lynn leans in slightly. Just enough for the words to land. Now I count every tear you cry. Silence. The weight of it settles. Final. Unmovable. Lynn straightens. Steps back. The candles continue to burn behind her, steady and unrelenting. The air thick with smoke. With memory. With everything that cannot be undone. Her parents remain where they are. Collapsed. Broken. Left behind. Lynn turns. Walks toward the door. Her steps are slow. Unhurried. She does not look back. Not at the flames. Not at the past. Not at the people who once held her life in their hands. The door opens. Night greets her. Cool. Endless. And as she steps beyond the threshold, leaving the last candle to burn itself into nothing. One truth follows her into the dark. Some fires are not meant to warm. Only to end what came before. And she, at last, has nothing left to burn. Epilogue. Time, at last, moves forward. Not as a blade. Not as a weight. But as something, almost gentle. The road to the hillside is quiet in the early morning. Mist clings low to the earth, softening the edges of the world, turning everything distant into something dreamlike. Dew settles on the grass, catching the first hints of light as dawn slowly stretches across the sky. Lynn walks alone. Not because she must. But because she chooses to. Years have changed her. Not in the way suffering once did. But in the way freedom does. Her steps are steady now, no longer measured for survival, no longer calculated for consequence. The tension that once lived in every movement has long since faded, replaced by a quiet confidence that no one can take from her. She is known. Respected. Her name carries weight, not because it was inherited, but because it was built. And beside her life stands something she once thought impossible. Choice. She stops before a simple grave. Weathered. Well-tended. Loved. Her grandmother's name is carved into the stone, the edges softened by time but never forgotten. Lynn kneels. Carefully. Reverently. I came, she says softly, placing fresh incense before the grave. The flame catches easily. The smoke rises. For a while, she says nothing more. Because there is nothing left to explain. Nothing left to prove. The wind stirs. Gentle. Warm. Carrying with it a faint, familiar scent, ash and incense intertwined, like a memory that has finally learned to rest. And then, for the briefest moment, at the edge of her vision, something shifts. A presence. Light. Lynn does not startle. Does not turn sharply. She already knows. Slowly, she lifts her gaze. There. Standing just a few steps away. Is herself. Not as she is now. But as she once was. Draped in red. Bound in memory. Eyes no longer filled with rage. But with something softer. Something at peace. The ghost does not speak. It does not need to. For a heartbeat. They simply look at one another. 2 lifetimes. 2 endings. 1 soul. Then. The ghost smiles. It is small. Quiet. But real. And before Lynn can respond, it bows. Once. Deep. A farewell. A release. Then. It dissolves. Light breaks apart into golden sparks, drifting upward, carried gently into the morning air until there is nothing left. Only warmth. Only stillness. Lynn exhales slowly. A breath she didn't know she had been holding for 2 lifetimes. Her fingers rest lightly against the earth. Grounded. Present. Free. Rest now, she whispers. Her voice does not tremble. The debt is paid. A pause. With interest. The wind carries the words away. Lynn rises. Slowly. The horizon glows now, the sun breaking free from the edge of the world, spilling light across the land in soft gold and quiet promise. She turns toward it. For a moment, she simply stands there. Letting the light touch her face. Letting the warmth settle into her skin. And then, for the first time, in 2 lifetimes, Lynn smiles. Not cold. Not measured. Not hidden. Free. And as the new day begins, so does she. End of story text. Like this story, comment and share. See you next story.